Hey kids, it is Mike. I am going to continue with my tour of all of my horror genres. I'm on my creature features right now. I love creature features. I know a lot of people don't because they're not like gory, always super gory, or you don't have some wackadoo splitting people in half or whatever. Of course, sharks and stuff do tear people in half, but I get it. But you want to know something? I don't care. I love them. So I have two first-time watches, which is something that doesn't happen to me very often. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Beneath, and it says terror lies just below the surface. I'm going to go ahead and do just like a mini review of this. So this movie was okay. I never really, I don't know if I can say I didn't get bored with it. I didn't know anybody who was in it. And of course, the fish that's in it, this killer fish, um, kind of looks like a big old paper mache thing. I guess if I saw something like this in real life, if this was, it would scare me. But basically, what would happen is every now and then you'd see this big ball come up, and the fish was shaped like a ball. It had some kind of spiny thing on it. So not the most terrifying creature. However, he was a prick. he Basically, this group of high school kids just graduated from high school. They wanted to go have a good time. The problem is they went to this lake that, I don't know, one of the brothers that were on there, they tried to basically go on this lake that belongs to them, and then they meet this old guy to start with. And there's one kid on here. What the heck is his name? I don't know. But anyway, he knows this guy because this guy was a friend of his grandfather's, and the guy straight up says, "Don't go out on the lake. Your friends are not the type that are going to respect the lake. You have to respect this lake." And I guess that's where the fish comes from, because if you don't respect this lake, the fish comes and eats you. So we have the five friends. They're all on this boat. So five, six. It's two girls and four guys. Two guys? No, there's six. Sorry. You can tell. So there's two girls. One of them's named Kitty. She's the lead girl. And then we have the brothers, and then we have Zeke, and he's kind of like the little geeky friend with the camcorder, and he's recording everything. And then we have, the other two. Debbie is the other girl, and God, why can't I think of that guy's name? Well, anyhow. So they go out into the river, or they're crossing the lake. The one guy, I'm just going to call him Johnny, because I can't remember his name. I'm going to say that might be right. So he's like, listen, we're just going to go on to the other side, have our little graduation celebration, and that's it. We're not going to mess with the lake. So they go in the boat, and of course, there's booze. They're throwing stuff into the lake. They go swimming. Little, kissy kissy, feely feely, and then something happens and the boat gets bumped, and then the three that are out in the lake come back. Four. Oh my God, I'm brain dead. Anyway, it's the three brothers, two girls, and then the nice kid. And so they come out of the water, and they're starting to head back, and one of the oars falls, and the girl named Debbie tries to reach the oar, and the fish comes up and bites her, and she bleeds out in the boat, so she's just dead. So the rest of them are freaking out. They're trying to go back, continue on with the one oar, and they let the fish get the oar. What the hell? So then it's a big fight. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? We gotta have some kind of distraction. So they throw the dead girl in the lake, and she gets ate. And they don't do anything. Come on. You purposefully threw this dead girl in the lake to try to distract the fish so that somebody could get to the shore or whatever. And they spent the whole time bitching. And then there's this big thing about how the brothers are both screwing Kitty, and Kitty's like, and then the nice kid ends up getting thrown in the water. So he takes off, the fish goes after him, and then we don't see him for a while. And you think he's dead. And then they decide that Zeke has to go in the water, so they throw him in the water. He gets ate. Then the nice kid comes back with a motorboat. But he doesn't trust them because he saw what they did to Zeke. So he says, I'm going to throw you this rope, and I'll pull you in. And they're like, no, let us on the boat, let us on the boat. Nope. So he throws them the rope, and then some kind of weirdness takes place with the fish, and the rope ends up choking the good kid. And then, so then they throw the good kid in the water, trying to distract him. Once again, the brothers get in a big fight. Everybody goes over. The one brother gets killed. The girl and the other brother swim to shore. And the brother goes all wacky because Kitty didn't want to tell the truth or whatever, so he kills her. And then the old man said, Lake ain't done with you. So, chomp chomp. Yeah, it was okay. Alright, so another new watch for me was Beware of the Blob. I had never heard of this movie. I love the Blob, and those are both in this little list. This was another first-time watch. Didn't see a single person get killed by the Blob. And the Blob in this one was, I don't know, really colorful. He was very pinkish. I don't know how to explain it. The other two Blobs, it was kind of scary. This one just looked like, I don't know, jello, I don't know. But yeah, you really didn't see a whole lot, people reacting to the Blob getting close to it. There was a couple times where like the Blob overtook somebody, like when they're at the ice skating place or the bowling place. But yeah, it was fun. Cheesy. See, I told you, it's like a big old gumball, or I don't know. But it was funny. Very campy. Who was in this? I don't know any of these people. Yeah. Oh, Carol Lynn was in it. She was in... Oh, and Larry Hagman. I forgot. He played Larry Hagman from Dallas. Played JR. He played like a guy with mental disabilities. That was kind of the... Never mind. You just have to watch to see. It's straight up cheese, so don't expect much. Okay, next, The Awesome Birds. The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. Love this movie. Of course, this is the one about where the little town of Bodego Bay is overtaken by crazy birds of all varieties. They attack numerous people, poking eyes out, chasing school kids, killing a teacher. Yeah, that movie has always been like a nightmare for me because birds don't scare me. They didn't scare me. They did after this movie. But yeah, that would be another thing. What happened if the birds all went crazy? Because, they fly and they can do whatever they want. But the scene, there's two scenes that stick with me the most. Well, three. The guy, I had never seen anybody like with their eyes poked out when I first saw this as a little kid. So that scene where the mom goes into the farmer's house to see what's going on because the feed that she got wasn't any good. And she finds him in his bedroom, and they do that boom, boom, close-up thing where it gets closer and closer to his face, and you realize what happened. That stuck with me forever. I love the school scene where the kids are in the school, they're singing the little song, and Tippi Hedren is sitting out by the playground, smoking away, not paying any attention to the fact that 10,000 birds are like behind her, flying in. How would you not notice that noise? I mean, seriously. But anywho, when they all go running down the street, love it. And then the other scene is when they're in the house. Veronica Cartwright, the mom, Mitch, and Tippi Hedren. Why can't I think of the character's name right now? When they're all in that house and the birds are just attacking the house and the noise, and they're all trying to find a place where they're not like freaking out. Yeah, that is so intense. I love that scene, and I love it when the town gets attacked too, and the gas explosions and all that stuff. But love the birds, one of my favorites. I also have the original Blob. Love this movie. This was one of the first horror movies I ever watched. Of course, Steve McQueen was fantastic in it. And really, it stands up. I mean, they didn't have the the technology that we have now. They could probably make a pretty interesting remake now, but it'd probably be all CGI and dumb. But anyway, back then that was pretty creepy. I mean, having that stuff ooze out here and there, and actually go up people's arms, and it was, of course, it was just a blob. It didn't like the remake, which I'll talk about in a minute. It didn't have a lot of the extra character in it. So when it got people, it got them because it was rolling fast or they were trapped or whatever. But yeah, love that movie. And then, of course, the remake of The Blob. I just got this not too long ago from Scream Factory. I remember this movie. I remember going to see this in the theater and thinking, oof, yikes. Yeah, there's some cheesiness to it, but this blob was completely different than the original blob because it had tentacles and all kinds of crazy things that it could do to grab people. So yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting deaths in this one. A little, much more gory than the original. That girl's boyfriend, at the doctor's office when we have our little, what's the cha-cha's name? Kevin Dillon. What's the girl's? Oh, Shawnee Smith. Yeah, she was in the Saw movies and some other stuff. But yeah, when she's trying to pull her boyfriend out of the blob and his arm comes off, ooh, that freaked me out. I was like, oh, that's so gross. I would just die right there and jump into it and be done with it. And I never understood that part. Why didn't the blob go after her? I mean, she had his arm. Why wouldn't you go after the girl? But it didn't. But yeah, I like that scene. I like the scene with Candy Clark in the phone booth. Of course, nobody knows what a phone booth is now, but that was a fun scene. That little boy, I couldn't believe they killed that little boy. I think that was the scene that shocked me the most because that here Shawnee's in charge of her little brother and his friend, and the friend gets killed. I was like, whoa, they actually did that. So that was pretty ballsy back then. So that is my tour for, I don't know that I have any more bees, but if I do, we'll get to them. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.